Domo! Hope you all had a good day today. So today we're going to do something a little different. You know, as both a hunter and a tamer, it's like I have a lot of experience working with various mythical creatures. So I thought for those of you that might be interested in learning more about how you could be a Pokemon master in the real world, we could go over some taming. Basically, I'll be going over some terminology, strategies, etc. By all means, feel free to ask any questions, if you need me to go over anything to review, etc., etc., etc. Alright, so let's get started. Let's see. Make sure I have the right thing open. So, basically the strategy I use is called behaviorism, which is basically the study of behavior. Obviously, it's in the name. Now, of course, everyone's different. They might use different strategies. And I know that when it comes to humans, there's mixed feelings about using this strategy. But we're just going to go with animals simply because we don't know how animals think. They can't communicate with us. I mean, with psychic Pokemon, they could probably tell us with their mind reading powers, but not all of them have that privilege. And the main benefit of behaviorism is the fact that it focuses more on what we can control on the outside, the external factors, rather than the internal factors, like what they're thinking, what they're feeling. It's more of seeing what's going on around in our environment. Now, when it comes to our environment, you have your stimuli. Oh, hello! Just in time. Domo. And basically, stimuli... it's a lot of... Oh, cool, thank you. Yes, thank you so much for the raid. We're going to learn about how we can how you would be able to teach Pokemon if we were to apply it in the real world. So basically, stimuli, if we're being really technical, science-y, they define as like any energy change that affects an organism's receptor cells, which basically means anything that affects you on the outside, like your senses, like your seeing, your hearing, smell, whatever. That's basically your environment. And also the history that comes with your environment. Like you may have heard of Pavlov's dogs. Normally, you have your unconditioned behavior and your conditioned behavior. Unconditioned is whatever behaviors you learned through evolution, like, blinking, drooling. Your body does that naturally. And even by definition, behavior is anything a living organism does. And with that, we have the dead man's test to see what even is a behavior. Is this a behavior? If a dead man can do it, it's not a behavior. So if you're just laying on the floor, doing nothing, that's not a behavior. But if you're like, say, staring out the window, or eating chips, or sleeping, or texting on your phone, those are behaviors. So those are important things to keep in mind. Alright, let's see. Masaka, thank you. Alright, so with the idea of behaviors, the important thing is getting them under control. Oh, thank you for the follow. So we have two main ways of controlling these behaviors. We have the reinforcer, which is the carrot, because this PowerPoint is about the carrot and the stick. The carrot is just something that increases the future frequency of the behavior that immediately precedes it. So, you want your Pikachu to use Thundershock, it does it, you say good job, you give him a carrot, then he's more likely to do it. No, not Punisher! Trust me, by the end of this lecture, you'll be using the carrot, you'll be putting down your sticks and getting a bucket of carrots. Trust me on this. Yes, I'm at 51 followers. Hi, Son of Die. In fact, good timing. Yes, by all means, if you have any questions during the stream, feel free to ask. Yes, I will be going for affiliate. Thank you. So this will be my last multi-stream for anyone watching on YouTube. Yeah, lurking is perfectly fine. It's like I lurk myself when I go on streams, so I perfectly understand. And when I do become affiliate, I know people like to raise up their bits, so it's like by all means. Yeah, exactly. I did turn off the spam bot, so you can use emojis now. Just don't go too crazy, okay? Yes, yes, the dog bell for feeding time. Yes, as I was mentioning before with the Pavlov. Basically, by pairing the food, which so basically, your body learns it has to drool in order to properly digest food. That's an unconditioned behavior. Obviously, a dead body can't drool. But what Pavlov did was he had it so that the bell would ring and then there was food. So the dogs create an association with the bell since it normally led to food, and because of that they were drooling at the sound of a bell because they had been conditioned into reacting like that. So yeah, when it comes to frequency of behaviors, that's just how often it happens. Yes, please take notes. By all means. Yeah, I turned on Better TTV, so I have some emotes now. Yes, so we have the reinforcer, that's our carrot. And then we have the punisher, which is the stick. That decreases the future frequency of a behavior. So if it went from happening twice a day, you apply the punisher, and it goes down to once per day. Then it was an effective punisher. And the other way with reinforcer, if it went from happening like once a day to like 3 times a day, then that means the reinforcer was effective. So when you put it all together, the carrot and the stick is a commonly known metaphor for the use of the combination of a reinforcer and punishment to induce a desired behavior. Yeah, they'll grab their leash when they're excited to go out. Right. Yep, we're going over psychology, specifically behaviorism. Now, the main criticism with behaviorism is the fact that we are focusing on the external factors rather than the internal factors. So some people might misconstrue that as, oh, so you don't care how they feel, you just want results. And it's like, no, we do care. We do have ethics for this kind of thing. Very important. So, if you really wanted a form of psychology that does focus on both internal and external, you can go with cognitive behavior therapy. But that's better suited for humans, because with humans we are able to communicate with them properly. We can understand their state of mind, what their goals are, but we can't do that with Pokemon. With Pokemon, all we can do is observe their behaviors based on what's going on with their environment. Most of Ash's probably. Yeah, his rivals used the stick way too much. Like, what was it, Paul? Like, Paul was a jerk. So, basically, reinforcers and punishments come in both positive and negative forms. I know some of you have probably heard this before, but I know it's very widely misunderstood. So let me break it down this way. When it comes to positive and negative application, we are not talking about it being good or bad. We're talking about it being either presented or removed, addition or subtraction. It's math, basically. So if you were to do positive reinforcement, like, you add the stimulus in question. So, for example, you have Pikachu there. He's eating a berry because he did a good job. He used, like, say you were teaching him Thundershock, like I mentioned earlier. He does it, he gets a berry, and now he's happy. And now he's more likely to use Thundershock next time you tell him to do it. Like, anyone that's played Hey You Pikachu probably knows how hard it is to get a Pikachu to do it. Yeah, Pokeballs do help, of course, with their disposition, especially if you get a friend ball. But sometimes maybe they might have trouble, and a lot of Pokemon have different behaviors. Some of them are naughty, some of them are brash, bold. So it's like you got to make sure that how you're properly training your Pokemon suits their needs. So on the flip side, there's negative reinforcement, where you remove the stimulus, which again is a part of the environment. So even a trainer's presence can be a stimulus. So like, let's say a wild Pikachu encounters a trainer, and obviously he doesn't want the trainer to catch him, so he runs away. And so by avoiding getting caught, next time Pikachu runs into a trainer, he's more likely to run away than, say, attack them directly. And even sometimes just delaying the inevitable of being caught can be rewarded, which in the form of avoidance. Yeah, Abra. Abra's got it down pat. He knows all he's got to do is use teleport, and he is out of there. And then there's punishment. It's like, this is again when you add something to decrease the chance of the behavior. Like with Sudowoodo here. Anyone that's played Gold and Silver probably remembers, in order to get rid of Sudowoodo, you had to put a watering can on it. Because it was sitting in a particular spot in the path that was blocking your way. You use the watering can, and if you don't catch it, it runs away and it never comes back. Why? Because it learned that being in that spot led to him being in pain, because he's a rock-type Pokemon. So by receiving the pain of water, he learned he should no longer be in that area. It's too dangerous now. And on the other hand, you have negative punishment, where a stimulus is, removed or decreased. Like with Pikachu here, let's say he got mad and scratched at Ash, and Ash is like, all right, you're not getting ketchup with your dinner today. And Pikachu loves ketchup, so that makes him really sad. So now that he's been punished, he learns, oh, if I scratch Ash again, he might take my ketchup again. And so he's less likely to do that. And you have to keep in mind that a reward for somebody, a reinforcement for one Pokemon, could be punishment for another. Masochists exist. So you gotta be careful and make sure that you're not going with being too broad or general with your idea. You have to learn the Pokemon individually and what they need. And it can go both ways. The trainer can also be rewarded or punished for doing something as well. Applying scary face. It's like that'll prevent them from fleeing. But yeah, it's like, let's say Team Rocket hits a Zubat, and that stops Zubat from biting him. It's like, that's negative reinforcement for the Team Rocket grunt, because he learned, oh hey, if I hit my Zubat, he won't bite me, so now he's more likely to hit his Zubat for misbehaving. Well, for the Zubat, it's positive punishment because he's receiving pain, and thus it would decrease the chance of him doing that. So, of course, the question is, yeah. It's like food is a big thing with Pokemon and mythical creatures in general. So, the million-dollar question is, okay, so what's causing the behavior in the first place? Like, let's say we got a Scrafty here. sipping some water. We got a Scrafty here. He's causing trouble. No one knows what's up with this guy. So a Pokemon scientist decides, all right, I'm going to observe the Scrafty. And I'm going to see what happens before, which is the antecedent, the behavior, which, happens during, and the consequence, which is what happens afterwards. So antecedent, behavior, and consequence. Yeah, it's like, it can, like I said, it can go both ways. So by observing, the before, the during, the after, antecedent, behavior, consequence, it's like the scientist is able to conclude, okay, this Pokemon is getting a lot of negative reinforcement for its behaviors. He's able to use moves or strategies where he's able to remove himself from a dangerous situation. Or in the case of using Thief to steal food, he can get positive reinforcement for that because he obtained something. Yeah. Evolution can affect the Pokemon's behavior as well. Especially, it really does depend on their environment. Like, look at what happens to Magikarp with Gyarados. It gets mad. That's all the more reason why you have to be careful of its behaviors and how well it's being taken care of. Because what a Pokemon learns when it's a baby can affect its behaviors when it becomes an adult. So, let's break down reinforcement a little bit more. There's a few different ways you can do it. For example, there's shaping, where you reward successive approximations of a target behavior. So it's like, again, you're trying to teach Pikachu Thundershock, but right now all he does is his cheek spark. Well, that's the first step to Pikachu using Thundershock, right? Like, he's got to charge up. So you can start by rewarding that behavior, and do it step by step over time. It's like, okay, how do we do this behavior? How do we break it down? And how do we make it so that once they work towards that behavior that we're trying to teach them? We also have generalization, where it's like, all right, so we want this Pikachu to be able to use Thundershock in all battles, not just in practice. So you would reward Pikachu, say, in every single battle. He's like, good job using Thundershock. He gets a berry, and then eventually he learns, okay, every single time I go into battle, I'm going to get rewarded for it. So I'll consistently use Thundershock when I'm in battle. And that allows him to do it in a variety of situations. But another thing you have to keep in mind, it's like, I actually will be going over that in a bit about more specific moves. And thing to keep in mind is discrimination. Like, look at Ash's Chikorita. Like, isn't it strange that it's like, obviously Chikorita really likes Ash. So he treats Ash very differently to everyone else. And that can affect a Pokemon's behavior, is the different changes in environment and how it's available. Like, say, like, I'm sure you notice, like, oh yeah, it's like, I just ate, I have dirty dishes, but you go into the dishwasher and the dishes are full. So you're like, okay, I can't do the behavior of putting my dishes in the dishwasher, so I'm going to do something else. That's also discrimination. It's when certain factors are available in order for you to perform the behavior. And discrimination can happen, again, between trainers. It's like, if Chikorita only listens to Ash and everyone else, that's a form of discrimination. And the thing about reinforcement is that it can be slow. You can't teach a Pokemon everything it needs to know in a day. It could take a week, it could take a month. It's going to depend on the Pokemon, honestly. You could have a Slowpoke and it could take like a year. You never know. And of course, you have to do a lot of planning. Like, what kind of moves you want it to learn, what are its goals. But overall, it is recommended over punishment whenever possible. And trust me, there are a million ways you could do it. You could set up schedules and everything, but that's something I could easily cover in a whole nother lecture. Yeah, like Ash's Charmander. It's like Ash's Charmander. It's like that's a case of Ash not really being consistent, and it led to when he eventually evolved, becoming defiant. It's like Ash would have needed to have followed through with training him and rewarding him for listening. Because it's like, if he had no motivation to listen to him, then it's like, why is he going to listen to him? You know? So yeah, tips for using reinforcement. First off, have rewards be exclusive to when teaching the behavior. Because it's like, if you have Pecha berries be available every time, all the time, then why would they care? But if they only can earn Pecha berries when learning, when training or battling, that's going to make it even more enticing. You can also pair one reinforcer, like food, with another reinforcer, like praise, to transfer that effectiveness. So, like, the main benefit of that... Let me drink my water. The main benefit of doing that is that when you don't need, when you don't want to use that particular reinforcer anymore, you have other options. Because let's say you start off with a Pokemon that only likes food. Like, the only way you can reward it is food. It doesn't understand that praise is a good thing. By pairing it with something like praise, it learns that to create a positive association with it. Like, yes, praise is a good thing, and that's something you can work for. And then eventually you can start fading out the other one over time. So it's like, that way you're not bringing like 99 berries in the battle just to get your Pokemon to properly use every single move. So instead you could reward it for using every other move, or every 3 moves, etc. Or maybe they have to wait all the way until the end of the battle to get their food. And then eventually the goal would be to just remove the food entirely. And maybe focus on something like praise, or toys, or whatever they prefer. And there's there's a million ways you could test to see what your Pokemon really likes. And that's a whole nother thing I could lecture about. But really the important thing is making sure, again, that you are catering to each individual. Now about punishment. Pokemon, it is tricky. As shown with Psychic Pokemon, they do, some of them at least, have shown evidence of sentience. And of course, that brings a lot of ethical concerns. So, we're going to assume that all Pokemon should have similar rights as humans would. Which would be, right to safe and humane treatment. And the professional has to be responsible to use the least restrictive procedures, so... Excuse me. It's like my throat's getting dry from talking so much. Yes, there is a cost on food. It's like, that's one of the benefits of trying to fade out using the food. If that's what you're working with. And of course, the PC, that's kind of like putting them away. They get to have a break from fighting and get the rest. And yeah, with least restrictive procedures, that basically means we're not jumping straight to whipping the Pokemon for being naughty. Like, don't be this Team Rocket guy. This guy's doing it all wrong. Do not do that. And of course, right to effective treatment. So basically, it's saying we try to treat them with the best care we can. That's basically what it boils down to. Especially Yeah, where's the money coming from? Well, winning the battles. It's like that's positive reinforcement for the trainer because he's receiving money as a result of his good care with his Pokemon, right? So when should punishment be used? Because really, it's one of those things where because of the major issues above, it's not something you should really jump into quickly. So when should you use it? The first, obviously, all other methods have failed. You got a Gyarados. You've tried giving it berries and everything, but it's still trying to burn your house down. So it's like, all right, we gotta get him to stop using Hyper Beam everywhere. So let's try pairing, or rather using alongside, the rewards, with the punishment behavior. And of course, the second one being behavior poses a danger to self or others. So if your Pokemon's going crazy, and and you have no control of it, and it's a complete threat, then you would want to use restrictive procedures. But only in those situations, and again, you would want to try and use the least restrictive procedure possible. And while these procedures may be quick, because it's like, obviously, you don't want to be in that situation again after you've experienced it, there are a lot of negative side effects. Side effects can include new behaviors coming up, like emotional aggressive behaviors, escape and avoidance behaviors. Like, let's say Joey sees his Rattata nibbling on the carpet, and he swats at him for it, and then the next day he goes to his Rattata, like, okay, let's go fight, and his Rattata is hiding behind the couch. It's like Joey just taught his Rattata to avoid him, or the Rattata's gonna get hurt. Because the Rattata doesn't know why the trainer hit him. Especially if you don't do it immediately. Like, if Joey only spotted the hole on the carpet later on and then punished his Rattata, the Rattata's not going to create the association because it didn't happen immediately. It's just going to say, they're just going to think, oh, my trainer came up to me and hit me, and I don't know why. And as I mentioned before, that whole two-way street thing with the overuse of punishment by the negative reinforcement of the person doing the punishing. It's like, you can get addicted to punishing your Pokemon. That's why there are evil Team Rocket grunts out there that are mean to their Pokemon and hurt them because they're being rewarded for it by having their Pokemon use something like revenge and causing all kinds of trouble. It's like, you're better off with something teaching your Pokemon return and loving it very much and getting it to do damage that way. So as I mentioned, proper use of punishment. It's like, you're going to want to select, if you are going to have to use punishment, of course, I understand. It's like, again, you don't want a Gyarados burning down your house. So you're going to want to select effective and appropriate punishers. So it's like, if your Gyarados doesn't care that you're yelling at it, that's not an effective punisher. Like, yes, it's positive punishment because you're applying, a loud noise to it. But if it doesn't care, it's not going to work. On the other hand, if your Gyarados doesn't like, it's weak to Thunder Shock, you get your Pikachu to use a little spark on it. Then it's gonna be like, oh well, God, I gotta stop. I don't want the pain. And of course, the intensity does have to be high. It's like if your Pikachu uses double slap on it and only does like 1 HP damage, that's not very intense, now is it? And it has to happen, as I mentioned before, it has to be as soon as possible. When the behavior occurs, it has to be almost immediate. if it's not immediate, then they're not going to understand that the connection's not going to be made. It's like they're going to think it was something else before. Like, again, if her chat is just sitting there doing nothing, if it's just sitting there and then the trainer approaches, it's going to think the pain happened because the trainer approached them. So the timing is very important. And each occurrence of the behavior is followed by consequences. So you have to be consistent if you're doing the punishment. Like, if you're playing guessing games with it, then it's, again, it could lead to something like avoidance behaviors where it doesn't want anything to do with you. And of course, now let's say the bad behavior in question was being rewarded before. Like, with Gyarados, it's like, if he was causing trouble, it's like, if he was using, this really is just a dog training lesson. It's like, it kind of is. But I mean, the reason why I want to do a lecture like this is because it's one of those widely known but highly misunderstood kind of things. And trust me, if people tried to have Pokemon in the real world, they would struggle a lot with it. So this is part of the fun, is learning if Pokemon were in the real world and were really strong and crazy, how would you be able to approach it? Thank you. But yeah, it's like, if the undesired behavior is being rewarded when you discover this, it's like, obviously you don't want to reward the bad behavior anymore, so you kind of have to stop it. Yeah, it's like, treat people like Pokemon, but with extra love, exactly. Yes, of course. It's like, consequences are very important. And of course, with using punishment in general, you have to make sure that reinforcement is available for alternative behaviors. Yeah, we're not training Pokemon. We're not training people. This is for Pokemon. Because with people, this is a lot more complicated, and I want to make this as simple and easy to understand as possible. Exactly. I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was. It's like, no, we're not punishing them. No. But yeah, rewarding them for alternative behaviors is really important, because it's like, there is this thing known as learned helplessness, where they're just like, okay, if I'm being punished for doing stuff, then I'm just gonna do nothing. But if they see that they could be rewarded for doing other stuff instead, then they're far more likely to do the other stuff. Yes, exactly. Positive is probably one of the easiest ways to do it, but negative works too, depending on the situation. Because again, positive, negative in this scenario is not good or bad. It's just addition and subtraction. So I mean, if your Pokemon has issues with, say, noise, or there's something that it doesn't really like and it just wants it to go away, or something like that, or if it wants breaks, it's like, those are things you can work on to try and reward it. Every Pokemon's going to be different. Alright, so here's how Pokemon move and relearner and deleter would actually work in the real world. So basically, you have, let's say, here's your Poochyana's moveset. And you want it to no longer use Bite, but you want to teach it Howl. Now, this is under the assumption that it already knows how to use Howl. It just doesn't use it that often. Like, it's got a limited pool set here. But relearning implies that it has a history of this behavior. It's not a new one. If it was a new behavior, we would basically be applying like a TM or HM. Yeah, it's like juggling 6 Pokemon. It's like, that's why knowing this stuff is important, so you can manage all 6 of them. So basically, most likely how the deleter would work in the real world is that he would probably be punishing Poochyena for using Bite. And basically, by constantly punishing Poochyena, eventually he wouldn't use it anymore. While with the relearner, she would be rewarding Poochyena for using Howl, and that would eventually be added to his moveset. One decreases the chance of the behavior, and one increases the chance of the behavior. But as I mentioned in a previous slide, this can lead to discrimination. Where Poochyena's like, okay, if I'm around the old man, he could hurt me, but if I'm around the nice lady, she gives me treats. So I'm going to treat them differently. So you want to avoid that. In the perfect world, both of them would be applying the same treatment plan. And this would allow for generalization, where Poochyena is learning to use the moves on command for a variety of people. And this allows, and being consistent with that, greatly increases the chance of him doing properly. But they do both have, but it is one of those things where it's like, yeah, this could be applied in the real world, but there is an issue with that. So yeah, pop quiz. I'm going to put a scenario on the screen, and you just have to answer A, B, C, or D. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's multiple choice, don't worry. Alright. So, a construction worker commands his primate to move some boxes. Primate instead uses rage and starts breaking things. The construction worker returns Primate into his Pokeball and brings out a different Pokemon to do the job. What happened here? Was it positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, positive punishment, or negative punishment? I'll give you guys a minute to answer. Do 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 do. Blow my nose. Yes, that is right. That was negative reinforcement. Because the construction worker basically rewarded Primate for using rage by removing it from the situation. And now, next time Primate doesn't want to do any work, he's going to use rage instead. Good job, guys. You both got it right. Next one. A trainer commands her Pachirichu to use Spark. Pachirichu uses Spark. The trainer praises Pachirichu and gives him an orange berry. Pachirichu happily eats it. So what is this? Yeah. It's like, that's a form of escape where it's like, where you're trying to get out of the situation. Yep, that's right. Positive reinforcement. Yay! That was an easy one, I know. Drink some water. Yeah. Basically, the reason why I emphasized Pachirichu happily eating it is the fact that, again, you have to make sure that what you're using as reward is something that they highly prefer. So, like, you could offer Pachirichu a whole bunch of different berries, and if you notice he picks the orange berry all the time, that's probably his favorite berry, and you could use that as a reward. Teddy Ursa is hanging out with his friends while his trainer watches. At one point, Teddy Ursa uses Play Rough and hurts one of the other Pokemon. His trainer picks him up and puts him in a corner away from his friends for 5 minutes. After the 5 minutes are up, the trainer makes Teddy Ursa apologize before they can play again. What is this? Yeah, this one might be a little tricky. That's correct. It's negative punishment. Because Teddy Ursa was removed from his friends. His friends being the stimulus in this situation. He was put in timeout, which is a form of negative punishment. And because Teddy Ursa loves his friends and doesn't like the idea of being taken away from them, now next time he's less likely to use Play Rough with them. Alright, a Team Rocket grunt commands a Zubat to use Poison Fang. Zubat uses Mean Look. The grunt yells at Zubat for using the wrong move. Zubat is clearly shaken by the yelling. What is this? My throat's so dry. Thank you. It's like, I do have a master's degree in being very smart, and this is a topic I am passionate about. So I would like to do a lecture like this again sometime. But, we'll see. Plus, I am playing Pokemon next week, so this seemed like a good time to do something like this. It's positive punishment. The grunt's yelling is adding a stimulus. The noise. To decrease the chance of Zubat using the wrong move. Yes. I can even go back to the chart here. The Team Rocket grunt yelling is the presentation of a stimulus. Yes, I'm more than happy to review for you. Yes, because the point of punishment is to decrease the chance of behavior, while reinforcement is for increasing behavior. And again, positive and negative, it's like math, addition and subtraction. And a stimulus can be, so taking away is a negative, yes. Correct. That's correct, specifically the grunt yelling at him. And by all means, keep asking questions and I'm more than happy to review it. No, it's okay. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you for being a good Kohai. Alright, so we'll go back. Yeah. Well, there's one more question. But yeah, of course, as I explained before, doing the grunt is the bad guy here in that he could have tried other methods of teaching a Zubat to use Poison Fang properly. But now it's like, if he wants Zubat to use Mean Look, Zubat might not use Mean Look now because he might be afraid of the grunt yelling at him. That's something you have to consider. And again, I put in the last sentence, Zubat's clearly shaken by the yelling. That means the yelling was super effective. If the Zubat didn't react or didn't care, then it wouldn't have mattered. Alright, here's the 5th question. Lillipup is playing outside when her owner calls her inside. Lillipup ignores the owner and continues playing. The owner gives Lillipup 5 more minutes and calls to her again. She still ignores them. The owner gives up and just lets Lillipup come inside when she's ready. What is this? It's like someone mentioned dog training before, so it's like, this is pretty close. It's like, I'm sure someone's had a dog like this. It's negative reinforcement. Lillipup was avoiding being let inside. And the trainer rewarded that by not letting them come inside. So they basically got to escape having to come inside. I know that's a very tricky one. But it's like, think of it this way. Let's say a kid rips up his math homework and the teacher doesn't give him any work to do instead. He didn't have to do the math homework then. Good question. We can go back to the thing to talk about it. The removal here was the trainer. Right. Because the trainer gave a demand, the demand was ignored, so the demand was removed. The trainer gave up and stopped ordering them. So basically, Lillipup learned, oh, if I ignore my trainer, I don't have to listen to them and I can play all I want. Yes, giving up is, if you basically just, giving up can be taking away a stimulus, because a demand is a stimulus. So if you're asking them to come inside and then you stop because they're not coming inside, you are rewarding that behavior. I know it is a little complicated, but that's why I tried to come up with this example, because I knew it would be a little difficult. Yes, correct. The demand was removed. And thus, it was negative reinforcement. Yeah, exactly. It's like, if you tell your kid to do something and they ignore you and you don't do anything about it, you're rewarding that behavior. Yeah, exactly. My goal for today was to just discuss these very simple concepts. Thank you. It's like, I tried my best to come up with these concepts with interesting examples. And I was hoping by using Pokemon people would stay. Especially since I like Pokemon. But yeah, this is the last one. I forgot I put this one in here. So Larvitar starts crying very loudly. His trainer gives him a rare candy to cheer him up. He eats the candy and starts crying again, pointing to the candies in his trainer's hand. The trainer gets tired of him crying and hands him all of their rare candy. What is it? That's right. It's positive reinforcement. You rewarded the crying and pointing to the rare candies by giving him rare candies. There you go. Good job. Your reward is a Pokemon video, if I can get it to work. Please work.
The following program contains material rated Chew Cute by Pokemon professors. Trainer discretion is advised.
Yeah, it is. Figured it'd be a nice
story
break.
at the Bulbasaur family. At 3 days old, they're still learning to use their legs. Our big boy, Leafy, is trying to be the leader of the pack as he goes on a little adventure. Our little girl Rose, however, decides instead to settle in for a nap. The runt of the litter, Bulby, wants to follow in his big brother's footsteps and also gives wandering a try. However, with his shaky legs, he doesn't quite make it as far.
Aw.
Aww. Our next stop is the Squirtle family. At 3 weeks old, these guys have gotten a little more used to their legs. But mastering them will take a little more time yet. But that doesn't mean they can't get into all sorts of trouble. Now I think it's about time we went and checked how the Charmander family's doing. Oh my god!
Yeah, with the Charmander family, they might need to be punished just a little bit. But I mean, discipline, as it's commonly known, is just effective use of punishment, if you think about it. Like, you know, when a parent disciplines their teenager by taking their phone away, you know? So it's like, that's a form of punishment, and the teenager learns from that. But again, it's one of those things where you have to be consistent, it has to be effective, and you have to reward alternative behavior alongside it. Otherwise, it's like, why? Yeah. It's like, funny enough, I'm going with Fuecoco. Alright. So, how do you stop rewarding bad behavior? You're like, alright, I messed up by, like with the Larvitar example, I messed up by rewarding my Larvitar by feeding it candies. I swear, I thought I was just cheering him up. I just wanted my Pokemon to be happy. You know, it happens. Mistakes happen. So how do we stop rewarding the bad behavior? Well, there's a bunch of different ways to do it, but one of the big things is known as extinction, where you completely discontinue rewarding that behavior. Like you rewarded before, not anymore. You're stopping that. Full stop. Though the problem with that is that you are probably going to go through an extinction burst, which is an increase in the frequency of responding when this is introduced. Yes, exactly. You're putting your foot down. Blow my nose. This winter air, I swear. So basically, Larvitar's going to think, okay, I cried, I didn't eat candy, so I'm going to cry louder for longer. And I'm going to keep doing that until I get candy. And the thing is, if you cave and give it the candy, then he's gonna... all you're doing is teaching him that he has to scream louder and longer to get the candy. Yeah. Cats do the same thing. So the important thing is you have to be consistent and follow through with it. It gets worse before it gets better. That's the biggest thing. And you have to teach alternate behaviors alongside it. So the pointing thing with like Larvitar, you could reward him just pointing. And then maybe from now on he'll point instead of just crying. Or some other behavior you would prefer he do. Yeah. I think with cats, a lot of it is just food anxiety. And of course, you know, if you do keep putting food in their bowl, then you're just teaching them every time they cry, they get more food in their bowl, regardless of how much food's in there. But if you taught them discrimination, where they only get food added to their bowl when it's empty, that can affect their behavior. Could have sworn I had another slide in here. Okay. Yes, so I already discussed this, but how can we solve Larvitar's problem? Maybe you guys can mention something I didn't say already. Anything. There are no stupid questions/answers. Mostly. Yes, taking the candy away, that's very good. Take the candy away, no more candies. What else can we do? Maybe he only gets candy after a Pokemon battle? Or instead of candies, he gets something else he prefers? Yeah, let it cry until it stops. Yes, yes, yes. Let it cry until it stops. Yes, yes. Because that is the thing about Extinction Burst, is that eventually they will have to stop. It could take hours. But if you follow through and do not reward them at any point, they will eventually have to stop. And if at that entire time they didn't get the candy, they'll be like, well, I'm not getting candy this time. Exactly. You don't want to reward that kind of behavior. And yeah, they have to communicate with their words. Yeah, I mean, if he's going, Larvitar, instead of being like, wah! Then that would be much better. Ask politely. If you happen to have a Larvitar that can talk, sure. Let's say this Larvitar's like Meowth and can talk. Then he would have to ask politely. Alright, back to the primate problem. This was the one with the construction worker, if you don't remember. How could we fix primate's rage problem? Now remember, the construction worker did that, and that rewarded the behavior. Meditation. That is an alternate behavior. Maybe we can establish a reward for moving the boxes before giving the command. That's one possible thing to do. We also don't want to reward it for using rage. So maybe Primate doesn't get his favorite berries for dinner afterwards. Like, like, again, if he's breaking stuff, that it could turn and he starts attacking people. So that does count as a threat. Yeah, he could let us rate somewhere more positive. That's another good one. Because you have to ask the question, why is he using rage? Again, you have to question the before, the during, the after. So it's like, all right, you can use rage on this, but you can't use rage on this. That's a form of discrimination training. And that's good because let's say you want to make it learn meditate. Yeah. Go to the move relearner. Because you probably do want Primate to use rage in battle. You just don't want him to use it at work. So again, you'd have to teach him discrimination. Move more boxes, be too tired to rage. Yeah. I mean, that can happen. If he has no reason to use rage or he's too tired to do it, he's less likely to do it. Because it's like, I didn't include this in the PowerPoint, but there is a thing called an MO, a motivating operation, that can affect how enticing a behavior is. Like, let's say you wanted to reward Primate with food, but he already had lunch, then the food reward's not going to be as rewarding as it would be if he was really hungry. So it's like you could prolong him having lunch until he's done his work, and that could be rewarding. Let a fighter or Pokemon use Rage on. Yeah, that's another one. That's another one. Again, that's part of discrimination training. Very good, very good. And that's why I made this open-ended, because there's so many different ways you could do this stuff. And in the end, it is going to depend on the individual. And you could try a variety of methods, and you can take data on it and see which results work best for him. Because maybe he does wind up liking meditation, and he does it before he goes to work, and he's in a better headspace for it. You don't know. Yeah, use TM and HM delete the move. Yeah, if you teach him other behaviors, and those get rewarded. Like, in this case, TMs and HMs metaphorically would be like brand new behaviors that he probably never even knew before. But it's like you can use shaping for something like that, where it's like, I'll go back. Where it's like, okay, let's say we want him to use strength. Strength is good for pushing boxes, right? So let's say Primate touched the box without breaking it, and he gets rewarded for it. He's like, okay, I didn't break this box. I just touched it. I'm going to touch this box again. He gets another berry. He breaks a box. Doesn't get a berry. Touches the box. Gets a berry. And then it's like, there's this thing called modeling. Again, there's like a lot of terminology I could have talked about. Like with modeling, you could show Primate. Like the construction worker could push the box and have Primate watch him, and then have Primate do it himself. And if Primate mimics him, then he gets a berry. And it's like, oh, you want me to push the box, and I get a berry for it. Okay. You know, stuff like that is something worth considering. And then again, if Rage isn't rewarded anymore, you know, we put it on, say, extinction. He's not being put back in his Pokeball for it. Then it's less enticing to do. I'll go back now. There we go. And yeah, that's pretty much everything I had. Like, this was basically meant to be like an introductory course for people that had never heard of this stuff before. So I tried to use terminology as simply as possible, while also making it fun by also speculating on how it would work with Pokemon. So you have any other questions? Do you need me to go over anything again? By all means. Yes, I might save this again. This was kind of a test run. Yeah, so what I'll do now is I need to use the bathroom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put us on a break, and then I'll boot up Genshin. And I could do the event for that for a little bit, just so we can chill and hang out after all this intense studying. And then we'll call it a day. All right? BRB. Okay. Come on, Genshin. There you are. It's just loading. It's like I got a PS5 controller today, so I'll get to mess with it. Yes, Luna's perfectly fine. Gotta get used to this controller. Oh, got a birthday cake. Oh, right, because my birthday! Oh, it just dawned on me. Oh my gosh. That's a really pretty cake. Yeah, I'm streaming Pokemon for my birthday. Thank you. Yeah, it's past midnight here, so that's probably why they sent it. What was I gonna do? Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's why they sent it, because it's midnight EST. Thank you. For some reason I'm not hearing audio from Genshin. I don't know if that's me or... I feel my controller rumbling. Let's see. Well, you guys can let me know if you can hear Genshin or not. For some reason, I'm not. Nolo? You mean so you can hear it or you can't hear it? Oh, yes, but it's low. I can turn it up. Just don't want people going deaf. Alright. I haven't done this yet today, so I'll do it. See. Yeah, I did this one already, so I want to do this one. No. Let's go with this team. It's like it could be the PS5 controller that's stopping me from hearing it, but that's fine. I usually play it on mute anyway. Unless I'm doing story.
Time for takeoff. Let's play.
Again, I gotta get used to this controller.
Delves into destiny.
Yeah, more stories coming.
Written in the stars.
Like, I'm interested in how they do 3. Yeah, thanks. I just used what they had for, Oh! Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Son of Die. I really appreciate it.
What's one? Here we go. Shadows of fate, decided by destiny. Sakura swirl. My apologies.
Freeze!
Okay.
Delves into destiny.
Freeze!
Whirling snow. Brace yourselves.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Let me scry.
I've been looking around, so
Fight.
it's like getting emotes and affiliate. It's all coming together. Oh, and now I get more viewers just in time for when I start doing Genshin. Welcome back, people. Assuming you came back, or if you're new, domo.
Think you can bully me? Fate is upon you. Delve into destiny. Think you can get away? Yahoo! Embrace the ice. My apologies.
I don't know if lurkers feel shy about being called out. I just want to acknowledge people that are there.
Shadows of fate. Take flight.
Yeah, because it's like,
Leave for space.
I know it could be tricky testing out a new streamer, so it's like, I don't know, I just want them to feel welcomed.
Time for takeoff. Take
Oh
flight.
yeah, I forgot this fireman was colored.
Shadows of fate.
Oh yeah, of course, it's fine if they lurk.
Brace yourselves.
Like I said, I'm perfectly fine with people lurking.
My apologies. Delve into destiny.
It's like I do it myself. Oh yeah, the fire cube. I forget how the fire cube works.
Written in the stars. Here we go.
It's like I beat it like once, and then I was like, I'm never doing this again.
Spencer.
I did that wrong.
Uh,
It's like, might get my butt
Get
kicked here.
away.
Badly.
Look at
Oh
you,
gosh.
Boozle.
So badly.
Bully me. Yahoo! Shadows of fate.
Ouchie.
I'm a rock. Take flight.
Wait, is it regenerating its shield? Don't do that. No, please.
My reckoning.
Oh, I messed up. I completely forgot how to fight this thing.
My apologies.
Since it's domain, I don't think I can heal. I probably messed up.
Brace yourselves.
Easy, can I failed. Try again. It's gonna move me all the way back in the beginning, isn't it? Yeah, crap.
Time for takeoff. Let's play. Decided by destiny. Delve into
Alright, I'll
destiny.
figure it out.
Take flight. Think you can get away? Here we go. Fate is upon you.
This part again's easy. It's just that fire cube. Very spicy. Oh yeah, I do have it as a command now. Okay, I'll definitely consider that. Yeah, it's like, let me type it in.
A blade embraces its duty.
Oh, you did it for me. Cool.
Jeweler
Yeah.
cherishes their gems.
It's like, I had it integrated before, I just never put in a command for it, so now it's there.
Time for takeoff. Yahoo! Let me scribe. Written in the stars. Kamisato art. Sometsu. My apologies.
Yeah, it's like that only took like 2 seconds. Nah, it's alright. I should have had a command for it before, I just didn't know I needed to put a command in for it.
Think you can get away? Here we go. Decide
Well, yeah, the command's there to be convenient.
Sakura swirl. Take flight. Yeah.
That was bad timing.
Diana special. Let's play.
A little
Delved
bit.
into destiny. Whirling snow. Time for takeoff.
Oh yeah.
Here we go.
And like I said I did take your suggestion with the TTV. Got
Shadows of
emotes
fate.
now.
Written in the stars.
I was surprised to see you didn't need to be affiliate to use them. That's really nice.
Look at you, Boo Down. I won't accept defeat. My apologies.
This is going
Kamisato
so
art.
badly.
Sometsu. Let me scribe. Let's play. Fate is upon you.
Alright. Every time a character uses elementary So it's rift stacks. Let me actually look up this cube to see how I'm supposed to defeat it. Because I know it's got that pyro shield, but I'm like... I don't know. Yeah, pyrohypostasis. Do 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 do. Yeah, this thing can like regenerate and shit. It's like, oh god. Yeah, it's like Hydra's most effective. So if this team doesn't work, I can try again with a different team. In fact, maybe my Inazuma team might be better for this. But we'll give it a try. What I'm wondering is why it has those things around it. Healing tenders. Oh, so they heal them. So that's what was happening. Oh, this event's weird. Alright, well. Wish me luck!
Written in the stars. Delved into destiny.
Like I might have to rely on Mona a little bit. Especially if Hydra's more effective.
Shadows of fate.
Yeah, in fact, I see. She's taking chunks out of him. Okay, maybe that was my mistake before. Was I wasn't using Mona enough.
Let me scribe.
She is squishy though, so that's why I was hesitant. Don't want to get hit by that. Regen the shield. Don't regen your shield, no!
This was not foretold.
Well, I didn't die this time.
Can't handle your drink, huh? Whirling snow. Unthinkable.
Oh gosh, it's so aggressive. Why did they put this cube in for the event? I don't like it. There we go. Wait, it missed? What the? Oh, I messed up. No!
Shadows of fate.
Stinky cube. The what in the where now? and of course I'm out of stamina.
Shake it and stir. Look at you, boozy. Decided by destiny.
Make sure no one dies.
Whirling snow. Yeah.
Come on. I'm doing a lot of damage to it. It's just being so stubborn. No pillars. No, go away. Oh god, there's another one. Go away, go away, go away. No pillars here. Suddenly you just hear, ay, 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 ay. Season 6 cannot come sooner.
Take flight.
Will this do it?
Swirl.
I timed it better that time. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Yeah! Got it! Cool. Great. I figured it out. Perfect. Alright. Yeah. Wrong button. Oh yeah, I unlocked extreme. I'm not gonna do extreme. Get the things. Yeah, fearless is the hardest difficulty, so I just gotta pick a thing. Let's see. I mean, that sounds good. I feel like Rift didn't help as much as it should have. I don't know. Well, interruption sucks, so we'll go with this one. If it doesn't work, I'll try something else. I'll have 2 pyro people in there. It's like, no shield, but it's okay. We'll figure it out.
Hold the line.
It's like with Coco, it's like she just goes pew pew with her fishes.
Shine down.
This thing's so aggressive.
Can't catch me. Covenant of the deep.
Yeah, do that. Oh boy.
Allow me.
Stop being so aggressive.
Let's move out.
Okay, cool.
There is no escape.
Kamisato up.
Let's see. Can I do it in time? This thing takes a while. It's kind of working.
Hold the line.
Oh, gotta shoot these things. Shoot. Shoot. Get away. Get away. Get away. Okay.
Let's move out. Shine down.
Be still.
Pew, pew, pew.
You know what, Kokomi actually might be better in this situation. Where's the things? Get rid of the things. The tinders. We're swiping left on this tinder.
Allow me.
This might be good. Yeah. With the vaporize. And yeah.
There is no escape. Rest and rebuild.
Maybe that time I should have first. Hayato. Well, I might get him. No, I'm not. No. Darn it. I almost had him. Let's see. Next time he's vulnerable, he's dead. Come on. Almost there.
Illusion shattered.
Cascade.
Yay! Okay, I got it. Cool. Yeah, it's like, I noticed this with the cryo one too, that it had shields on it, and it doesn't normally have shields on it. For some reason, this is like extra hard mode for the cubes in this event. It's so weird. Let me... At least tomorrow, at least the next one's gonna be easy. Because it's, Hydro. Unless they add some really weird gimmick to it. I don't know. Yeah, so I got my resin thing, so... Yeah, this team actually works, because I can just burn my resin over here, and then we'll call it a day. Yeah, this team's good for this one. Yes, I do. It's literally my username, Bloody Daloon, at, yeah. It's like I'll probably have to put it in, business inquiries. I'll put it under, I'll probably put it in my YouTube business inquiries or something.
There is no escape. Allow me.
But yeah, it's, Bloody Daloon, at Gmail. I'll put it in my YouTube thing.
Illusion shattered.
The depths beckon. Cascade.
Oh yeah, speaking of YouTube, again, I don't know if anyone in YouTube watching. I haven't checked. But this is my last multi-stream. So I was like, subscribe to me on Twitch if you haven't already.
Can't run from death.
Oh, okay. Okay. I don't know how whispering works. I might have set it private. So I wasn't getting like bots or anything. Yeah, just put your name in the your name and username in the email. Alright, but yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. So, thank you guys so much for coming today. I appreciate both you, Zero Ray, and Son of Die both coming today and staying for the whole time. Next week, I'm doing all Pokemon. Like, it's all gonna be Pokemon this week. In fact, since I was raided, it's like... Anyone got any usernames to raid? Because, like, I'm looking at the people I'm subscribed to or following. Thank you. If anyone has a name for me to raid, I can go do it right now. Just to say that I've done it. And also, +2 is better than +0. Yeah, it's like, I know it's pretty late. Then again, I could just do it another time. Oh! Okay, let's see, raid... Yeah, this one. So, I'm trying to figure it out. Kinder... Oh, that's cool. Alright, so... Catch you on the other side, I guess. If this works. Alright. Bye-bye!